Alright, how's it going? This is Sam Welker with thinkparticle.com, and in this video we're going to be talking about the TP Toolkit. And we're going to talk about an object called the TP Pgroup Manager. So, that is part of the TP Toolkit, which is a plugin for Cinema 4D. So this is the visual documentation series, and you can find this plugin at thinkparticle.com, which is right here, this lovely website. Go ahead and check it out there, and we'll let that load over there. But you can find the TP Toolkit at this website, and pick up your own copy there, and download it and have a world of fun. Have all this power and control. It's exciting. Very, very powerful. So in this video, we're going to talk about the Pgroup Manager. So in thinking particles, you have groups, right? And they'll move out, and we're going to have a red group, a blue group, and the green group. And we're going to have the red team and the gold team. And Luke Skywalker is on one of those. Anyways, so our particles are going to each have their own respective groups, and the purpose of this is to give different controls. So one group, in this case, is going to use curl noise. That's our first group, the red group. Then we're going to add custom turbulence to give it a different variation. In this case, we can actually show that better, like such, by adding that. And as that gets older, then they're going to get into the last group, which is going to just add some actually, I don't really know how it does that. It was supposed to be just some wind. You know, it adds gravity. So the particles get older, and then they fall. Okay? So that's controlled by changing the groups. And these things are applied over the life of these particles. Okay? So how is that done? We have our initial group emitted from the TP simple emitter, and then it changes with the Pgroup Manager, and then it changes again. So, and we're actually going to change it one more time into the most deadly group of all, black. Exciting. All right, and we'll just clone that and just do a little thing, some. All right, so we're going to have our P group, which is going to take our, well, let's go ahead and talk about this. We're going to start by going to the settings, and we drop this in, and we have our particles emitted from the emitter. And once they've been emitted, we have our group, and they're in that TP Toolkit group. That's the old particle group. It's kind of old, and you know, we like new things. We like it new, fresh, cool. So we're going to go ahead and go to the B group, because that's what it's like to be cool. Yeah, I went there. So, that was probably the worst joke I have made all day long, and you were there to witness it. So we have our B group, and the particles will change to the B group. And right now we're using age to affect that, and we're saying, all right, we're going to use an absolute age. We're absolutely going to follow it. No ifs, ands, or buts. You're going to do it. So it's going to take the absolute age, which is actually not, it's not about maybes, it's more about being direct. You have relative age, which is a percentage, a lifespan, because each particle can have a different life. A particle can have a life of 90 frames with a variation of 100%. So some particles will have 0 or just 1 frame of life, and some will have 90. And relative, say 10% of life, will be different for each particle. But having an absolute life, in this case, is actually going to be very specific. It's going to say the particle's been around up to 15 frames. Okay, it's been 15 frames for frame 15 to 16. These particles are going to change to group B. All right, and then we're going to do it again. We're going to change the particles from 45% of their lifespan to 46%, or from 45 and 46% to group C, and then they're going to fall because the group, the first group, is going to have some just curl noise applied. And then we're going to add some really crazy turbulence in the second group with the amazing TP custom turbulence. And then we're going to use the final group, the C group, to add some gravity, because things just got real. And then we're going to take the C group, and this is something I should have prepared before, but we're not going to use age. We're going to use an object trigger. Watch this. We're going to make a big object. These particles are going to fly out and hit that, and they turn black, and they're dead. Dead to me. Forever. And they will still follow the splines will still follow them because it's still part of the all group, and it's still using the subgroups. So we can go ahead and just remove that and select all three of these and drag them in. So now these particles are going to follow along the spline, and once they die, the splines will never follow again. And that's because they're hitting that object, and now that object knows that whenever a particle goes through it, it should just die. And that's just how it works. Now, some of these particles are still going through it, but that's because of the ever-present need for Maxon to integrate subframe sampling to thinking particles. Come on, guys, it's about time. All right, so we can enable the trigger, and the trigger type can be front, so it's the front-facing polygons, or the back side. So we can just use the back side of a polygon. So the back of the sphere. So it won't happen until we hit the inside faces of the sphere, or both, which is the best bet for a trigger in this case, because again, some of them are going to go through that shouldn't. And the two-sided trigger will solve that problem. And then you can offset it. You can use a user-defined offset or a particle size offset. So that takes the size of the particle, which is applied dynamically. Or in the emitter, and in this case it's not applied in our emitter. It just takes a default value of whatever it is, and then it will use, we can use that value. Don't know why my numpad doesn't like to work. Sometimes I feel like numlock turns on or something. But you can use an offset value of a user-defined travel, and that will set the particles to die before they would normally. So if we set that even bigger, actually I think that is just too big. So it should just die sooner. So some of the particles, as you can see, like up here, are turning to the black group before they actually hit. So that's what user-defined travel is. Yeah, and we'll set that to none. Goodness, numpad does not work. And then you can also add variation to that offset, which I don't know why there's a separator here, but there shouldn't be because they actually apply together. So that is the Pgroup manager object in Cinema 4D. And be careful because sometimes these things are deadly, but it's going to be okay. So thank you very much for watching and putting up with my terrible humor. You can find the TP Toolkit at thinkparticle.com and the rest of the series for the visual documentation series on the TP Toolkit. Very exciting stuff at thinkparticle.com as well. And I am Sam Welker, and I will see you guys later.